one of the people who has been standing behind the president every step of the way on this, because he smells a rat and he knows fake news when he sees it, because he's been at the other end of a lot of it in the 2nd District. Former Navy SEAL, former Congressman, 2nd District, former House of Delegates member, Scott Taylor, soon to be the next senator from Virginia. Scott, great to have you with us.
John, it's always a pleasure. I'm calling you from rainy Bogota, Colombia. I'm speaking at the 170th anniversary of the Conservative Party. Pretty cool.
That is
good to be
cool.
With you.
That is cool. So how did you end up being one of the speakers there? Other than your Spanish is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. The former ambassador and former Minister of Defense sent me an invitation to come down and speak, and Colombia is probably our closest ally in South America. It's an important country for us, and obviously I served down here in the military before, and so that's why I'm here, and I'm looking forward to talking about our shared values as conservatives, and it's an honor for me to be here.
Well, you know what?
Unfortunately, I won't be with you tonight.
I know, but I know you would be. Scott, I got a couple questions. Number one, and I'm going to kind of work backwards here. The press conference tonight, we decided to put this on. Elaine, Luria is having a town hall meeting, so it's not like we're just doing a protest. But I think that the truth here has got to be told. Elaine campaigned against you in the 2nd District, and we heard this, this line about how she was different. She was a moderate. She was not going to toe the line of the left wing Pelosi AOC group. Right? We heard all that, and we're getting the opposite. So I just want to hold her accountable. If she wants to vote for impeachment, go ahead and vote for impeachment. I don't care what she does. She'll have to answer for that in November 2020. But my point is, if you're going to say something, do it or change it. You can't have it both ways. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. Look, and this is just a sore loser talking. I try to tell our people in the 2nd District that it was false false advertising. She's not a moderate. She's not going to be strong and stand up against her party. She was completely funded by Pelosi and folks on the far left. And yes, she used her, which this is what upsets me, is she used her veteran status, as did these other 7 lawmakers that, I think it was 5 or 7, that created this op-ed. And as you remember, John, they wrote this op-ed and had it published before they knew any facts. They hadn't seen anything. They hadn't seen any whistleblower complaint. They knew nothing. And the reality is those girls didn't do it on their own. That was all Pelosi, and they used them and their veteran and national security status as cover to be able to start an impeachment inquiry that, as you said, articulated well, isn't fair to the president or Republicans, because they don't take a vote. They're too scared to take a vote, and our side won't have the ability to call witnesses as well, which is, it's such a sham. And so I'm happy and I'm thankful that you are going there tonight to hold her accountable, because that's what has to happen. And I'll tell you, I tweeted at her and I said, hey, you need to have a town hall. I'm in this district all the time. I'm always around Virginia Beach, Norfolk, everything, and people haven't heard from her. They don't see her anywhere. She's not in the district. And so I said, you need to have a town hall. A lot of people are pretty upset, just like myself, that you would make our votes irrelevant, whether they voted for the president or not.
Right.
Irrelevant. And you would do so using your veteran status before you knew any facts whatsoever.
Right.
So she said she had scheduled a town hall a couple of weeks ago. Well, she did, with a capacity of like 200. And I said, I'll happily promote it for you so that your people know, because no one knows what you're doing. And it went up. She had to increase it to 400, and it's, of course, sold out again. And she's back home for 2 weeks. She should be all around the district and not having one, because as you are well aware, a lot of people are not happy with her stance.
Well, I just think she has to own up to it. I mean, I believe that she's got a right to vote and support whatever she wants. And if it's going to be different,
she has to stand in front of people and tell them why she believes and why she chose to take a position before she knew any facts whatsoever, and why she chose to say, I'm going to take a position that makes your vote irrelevant,
right,
whether you voted for or against this president.
Right. Well, and the reason she did that is out of fear of getting a left-wing social justice primary challenge. See, this is what's driving all this. This has nothing to do with the right thing. But I think Congresswoman Luria has to get up and explain this vote and explain why she is not doing what she said she was going to do when she ran. And look, again, she's going to be accountable for this in 2020. I don't believe she's going to be successful in the way she's going about it, but she should hold to. Look, when you were there and we went through the Obamacare and trying to repeal and replace that, you had a town hall meeting all over your district. You had like 6 or 7 of them, Scott, from the Eastern Shore to Norfolk to Virginia Beach to Williamsburg. You had them all.
In every area, and we had over 1,000 people in a couple of them. And quite frankly, the Dems, not everybody, but there were certainly organized folks that came there yelling and screaming. Someone got spit on. I mean, it was disgusting, and they were just rude and nasty. I'm hopeful that our folks that are there tonight on our side aren't like that, but that they do hold her accountable and that she has to explain herself. Impeachment is not, because she tried to hide by, oh, well, it's my constitutional duty. I swore to defend, again, trying to use her veteran status to justify this bogus impeachment. But impeachment is it's not something that's mandated by the Constitution. It's a choice. It's a political choice. And they're choosing to be political. They're choosing to, quite frankly, they chose to try to paralyze this presidency from day one, and now it's paralyzing the country instead of actually getting things done. They have 0 accomplishments since taking over the House. 0. And so except for that, I just think that they need to do what they said that they were going to do for us when they got elected. When the American people gave them the House to work for us, it wasn't to impeach the president. That's not why they voted them in. So you're right. I'm glad you're there, and I'm glad that there's going to be a lot of folks there that are asking her questions and holding her accountable for her position.
Well, and that's all that we're asking. Again, I have no problem with how she votes on anything. I believe there should be a hearing and not an inquiry, which is really a political witch hunt. I mean, Adam Schiff has turned this into simply a political football.
Adam Schiff should be censored, and Democrats should be the ones that take him, remove him from chair. That's super clear, man. I mean, if you want any inkling whatsoever of fairness, even though we know this is not a fair, it's a political show. But the reality is, I was looking all over the press yesterday on Twitter trying to find how they were reporting it, because as you know very well, they frame it completely different. They just don't report it fairly. But I don't know how you don't, based on how he on the record with congressional testimony, basically lied about what the president said in the transcripts. I've read the transcripts. It sounds exactly like the president was talking to you or I. It's amazing how they're trying to hang on every single word, where they try to make fun of him in his speech and his words and sort of belittle his words. Typically now it's like every single word is so important, and him doing that. And now that we find out that this whistleblower stuff went to his office way before anybody, and that he didn't say that and lied about it on national television over and over again, which he's been doing for the last 2.5 years. If you're a Democrat, I don't know how you can be comfortable with that guy being the chairman. And quite frankly, I think some of these, like him and his staff, the Senate, Lindsey Graham, he should investigate, and he should subpoena them and put them under oath. Put his staff under oath. Put Adam under oath. Put the whistleblower under oath. Whether the whistleblower is anonymous, remains anonymous or not, they should definitely be under oath.
Scott Taylor, we're with Scott Taylor. He has launched a campaign for U.S. Senate in Virginia in 2020. Scott Taylor raising money right now. Scott hoping to be the Republican nominee to run against Mark Warner in 2020 in Virginia. Scott, let me just ask you this straight out. Sure. The New York Times reported yesterday, the fake news New York Times of all people, that Adam Schiff was aware of the whistleblower complaint before it was actually formulated, that the whistleblower's attorneys went to him to coordinate the effort, get it written the right way so that it could be presented in a coordinated way, and with leaking it to the media, it was all an orchestrated effort. What kind of a whistleblower is that would go to the Intel chairman ahead of time so that it was a coordinated media event?
So I've read the whistleblower complaint as well as the president's transcripts, and what I see, and I'm going to answer that question in 1 second. What I see in the whistleblower's complaint itself is just like you would think an intelligence analyst would be, that they would try to get information from different sources and compile a narrative as best they could. That's what it looks like. It doesn't, it doesn't seem to me like this, it seems to me exactly what it is. It's a CIA analyst who gathered secondhand information to try to create a narrative. Now, the fact that that person, who also was found by the IG as having political bias, so think about that for a second, that's important. This person, who's the supposed whistleblower, has political bias, and then goes straight to Adam Schiff's committee. I mean, if you're that doesn't smell good. If you're anybody out there with common sense anywhere around this country, that doesn't smell right. And I think we should have answers on that. And I think that Adam Schiff's staff should be under oath. I think Adam should be under oath. Mm-hmm. It's clear that he will say whatever he needs to say to make it politically skewed in his direction. Mm-hmm. I think those folks should be investigated by the Senate, whether it's Lindsey Graham or Chairman Burr or Mark Warner. Hey, ask Mark Warner. Mark Warner, does he think that they should be questioned about that? Does he think that doesn't smell right? Should they be under oath, Adam Schiff's staff and Adam Schiff, because he's clearly said one thing and something else happened? So it doesn't smell right to regular Americans out there. They should be held accountable for that. They should. Adam Schiff should not just be the one who's putting you under oath and asking you questions, right? He should be too, given this information that just came out, that the New York Times itself reported on.
Scott, why has the U.S. Senate been relatively quiet on this?
I don't understand. I don't think. Well, it depends on who it is in the Senate. I mean, the reality is politicians sometimes, like you talked about with Elaine earlier, they're worried about their self-survival. Well, this is no time to sit on the sidelines. This is no time to be fearful of elections. This is no time to be hiding and not speaking out and trying to get to the bottom of this. Just like with the potential origins of the Russia collusion being from the Ukraine, Democrats should want to know too. Mark Warner was obsessed with Russia collusion when I spoke to him, obsessed with it. Yet you hear nothing now when there is the potential that Russia collusion and then therefore something to do with Russia meddling in our election could have had origins in Ukraine. Why are they silent on that now? Why are they silent? I mean, these folks on the left should be held accountable, and the press should be asking them those questions as well. Do you think it was appropriate for the whistleblower to go to Adam Schiff and Adam Schiff's committee and staff, helping them start the whistleblower complaint or not? Isn't that important to know? Because it doesn't smell right to regular people. Those folks should be asked that question. Mark Warner should. Chairman Burr, Republican, should be asked that question as well.
They should all be asked that question. And Scott Taylor, look, we're sick and tired of this nonsense that is going on and trying to take this president out. And I agree with you 100%. If they want to go for impeachment, have a hearing, vote on it, get the votes they need.
Be accountable.
And then be accountable. Right now they're hiding behind the apron of an inquiry, which, oh, by the way, gives the Republicans zero power to call a single rebuttal witness. The whole thing is a sideshow, Scott. Scott, people want more information on your campaign. Where do they go?
TaylorForSenate.com, TaylorForSenate.com. We're on all the social media. You can text, go to TaylorForSenate.com. Give us a shout. We'd love to have your support.
TaylorForSenate.com. Mark Warner's worst nightmare. Scott, be safe in Columbia.